Participants, dear BBC, we have Dr. Naeem Zafar with us. So, Assalamu alaikum. So, thank you very much.
Later to realize, especially in this forum, is the scope. We cannot integrate all the
number
data.
of examples in Nadra where we started from ERA project where we disbursed cash and social
I
grants.
have a few cases that I want to share with you. You can decide yourself whether it's a success or it's not a success. But
Which means that whatever you observe from space, whatever you do in space has a common heritage for the mankind on the earth.
One that collects sales tax, BRA does the sales tax part. And this is coming directly from them in BRA that, if we could just integrate the two data sets.
Two basic things जो किए samples far quick. One is very big.
सेंट्रल रिपोजिटरी ऑफ उस पर करना चाहिए और उस पर भी जरूरी नहीं है कि कोई बहुत बड़ा स्ट्रक्चर हम
I'm just going to give you, first of all, those of you who might not be fully aware of what NDRMF is doing or what it's supposed to do. So it's a National Disaster Risk Management Fund. It's a fund. Our mandate is to basically, all of you, and those of you who are not here, are spread all over Pakistan, to reduce your disaster risks and your exposures. So related to climate change or even non-climate change related disasters as well. So, in a broader sense, we are a fund and we are an organization, federal government's organization, which is tasked to reduce the disaster risks and then prepare the country and the economy and the communities for climate adaptation. And we started off with kind of building the very physical protections and flood protection walls and weather systems and a number of other areas like this. But very quickly we came to the conclusion that this is kind of chasing the mirage, and we need to do these kind of measures, but we need to equip ourselves to kind of build up something which is more tech-oriented, which is more data-oriented, which basically gives us more kind of forecasting, and we can at least evaluate and model the kind of impacts with the different disasters and the different scales of disasters is going to have on our economies and on our systems. And that basically directed us to looking and collaborating with a number of agencies, but we worked very closely with Sparko, and they actually developed this thing which is called NatCat, or Natural Catastrophic Based Modeling System, which basically means that it's entirely built on the data, and a very different kinds of data which is sourced out and which has been calculated and accumulated and gathered from so many different sources thanks to Sparko. And based on this very large scale base data layers, which is the satellite imagery, there is the data which is related to the socio-economic parameters, as well as the data which is from the flow of the rivers, a number of other things. So it's quite a humongous amount of data which actually is part of this system now. Now, what does this mean is building and incorporating the different models and then layering it up with the different climate change scenarios which are widely used internationally and has been developed by international systems, especially IPCC and a number of other institutions. And when this data integration actually takes place, the base data and the data from Pakistan, from different sectors of Pakistan, and layer it up with the climate change models, it actually gives us a very powerful assessments, and we can actually model the different kind of scenarios and build the different kind of scenarios and see that in the case of the different disasters, what is going to be the impact on different sectors, on different communities, on different infrastructures. And then that basically means that we can actually prepare ourselves accordingly, and we can actually erect the right kind of infrastructure for that, for protection, for those kind of disasters. It basically it covers almost all the essential perils, all the different hazards which Pakistan has been facing. Of course, flood is a very obvious one, but we have also covered the cyclones, the drought. Similarly, earthquakes, a number of other perils as well. And then integration of the panels itself actually, because we all know that from the disaster and the science of the disaster risk management that when we are actually building a system, we have to look in a lot more in a completely kind of a holistic manner, because these different disasters, different panels actually they do interplay with each other, and they actually they are the risk multipliers. And that's how we have actually integrated the system, and this basically enables us to model the different scenarios, come up with the different layers as well as the different curves for different kind of systems and different kind of impacts. So just to give you one example, because flood is for very obvious reasons, the flood is a very obvious topic in Pakistan, because we have been actually adversely impacted by the floods. In case of floods, we can actually model it out, the different impacts up to 400 years. In a technical language, it's called return period. That this basically means that up to 400 years, and on the scale of the different kind of historical floods which we have been facing, and what can we expect that the impact is going to be, how far, how deep, and how it's going to be impacting the different communities and the sectors. Now this is all good. This all looks very good and looks very attractive, and actually we actually like to play, and I would like to invite everyone else to actually log into the system and do play, and do actually give us some feedback how to improve that further and how to improve the usability of it. But I think when it comes to the usability, when it comes to the actual applicability of it, I mean, we have actually integrated one particular feature to it, which again is open to the public, and that is this is a cost calculator, risk cost calculator, and by entering actually the different parameters into it, and it can actually give how is going to be the cost in case of the different disasters. Now these kind of systems, these kind of applications, they are extremely useful for a number of areas, especially for the banking industry and the insurance industry, because this kind of application was not available in the country, and it's the first of its kind, which is now publicly available, and it can be used for them as well. We are further expanding this. Now another kind of a user integration which we have created is we have integrated with Ministry of Planning, Development and Special Initiatives, and now this is integrated with their system, IPAS system, and which is part of the PBS as well. And they can actually use, and they can actually run the different scenario analysis before actually making any kind of decisions, especially the public sector development decisions. And we all know that hundreds of billions of investments are actually undertaken there. And previously there was not a system in place when they can actually look into that. If we are setting up a school somewhere in Balochistan or in KPK, whether that particular geography and that location, how exposed that is to different kind of disasters. And a number of actually investments have been actually taking place without the scientific knowledge or without any systematic system in place where they can evaluate. So those who are making the decisions and those who do understand this kind of a science, they know that what is the value of annual average loss curve. They know what is the value of fragility curve in that scenario, and they can actually integrate that. The system can actually, with a click of a button, it can generate those kind of curves, and with the interpretation, and that can be integrated, and that can become extremely valuable piece for the decision-making processes. So I think this is just one kind of an application. Madam Dr. Engineer Sahiba has been talking a lot about the machine learning and artificial intelligence. Now we are actually incorporating that, and that is going to be actually empowering and further fueling this for its wider application.
Excellent.